What's up, guys? Chandler Barber back at it again. Today I'm going to be doing a self-cut. Going to be doing a fade, a mid drop fade on the sides, or a mid to low drop fade on the sides. I'm not really going to be touching the top. I want to grow the length a little bit more on top, but wanted to clean up the sides and thought I would film to show you the process. So first off, I'm using my 2-guard closed on the clipper, and I'm just going to be going through and debulking the hair. This is so it'll make it a lot easier for me to see my guidelines as I place them in once it's debulked. The big thing with doing a self-cut, especially trying to do more of a precise fade, is taking your time and utilizing your mirrors. So when I cut on my right side, I'm mainly just looking into the mirror, but then I will have a handheld mirror that I use when I'm trying to get my left side, and I'll use that looking back into the mirror that I'm currently looking in. When you're using the guard to debulk, mainly just kind of coming up and off, or once you get up to the top you can flick out. I'm trying to just take that up. I don't want to dig in too far into the top of my head with the clipper, so I'm just kind of going up and straight off the curvature of my head. So just gonna go around, debulk, make sure I've got it all, and once I have done that, I am going to take my shears and comb and just kind of connect the sides a little bit where there might be a little bit of overhang, just to kind of get that to blend a little bit better. So once I've gotten that to kind of my liking and just kind of blended that a little bit, I'm going to then take my clipper. I'm going to have it closed, no guard, and this is going to be what I use to create my first guideline. So as you can see, I'm going up a little bit above the ear, and I'm going to try to arch that back just like that. I didn't show the whole process because it really takes some time. This is probably the hardest part of the cut, I would say. So don't rush it. Just really utilize your mirrors. And yes, I did cut my ear with my clipper. So, you know, having to go between using your left hand and your right hand with the clipper, it is very difficult. But again, just take your time. Don't rush the process. Usually when I do a cut like this, it takes me about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So once you have made that guideline and gotten it as straight as you can, I'm now going to take my 1 guard and I'm gonna have it closed, and I'm going to go up about a finger length from the original guideline around the head. So I'm going to take that around the head. Also, just kind of a note, having really good light is very key, and having a good setup with your mirrors. So I'm using a handheld mirror as I look into the other mirror to try to get the back and my left side. now I'm going to take the 2 guard and I'm going to have it closed. I did use this to debulk at the beginning, but I'm going to go back and go over just to soften it up more, and if I miss certain hairs or whatever, this will kind of get it. So I'm just going above where I was at, trying to kind of connect that in a little bit. Once I've gone around the head with that, I'm going to take my 1.5 guard and I'm going to have it closed, and I'm going to now try to start softening that line up that's coming from the 1 guard closed to the 2 guard closed. So I'm just kind of working that line, not gonna try to force it too high, just gonna kind of use my eyes and start the blending process. You'll see that it'll start softening that line up a little bit, and I'll probably go back in if there is still some harsher lines. I'll have to use my judgment as far as whether I need to go back down to the 1 guard. You have to really play with your levers and just use your eye. So as you can see, really soften that line up. There's a couple dark spots here and there, but I'll have to go back and kind of refine that through detailing. And to detail, I'll use the corners of my blade with whatever guard I'm working with. And a key is, if you still see a line after going over it with a particular guard, if you're open, start to close that guard. But if you need to go down to another guard, that might be something you have to do too. Just be patient with it, and don't try to attack too quickly, but just kind of work with it. And it takes time. It does take time to really understand the fading process. Obviously, I could do this a lot better on someone else's head. It makes it a lot harder when you're trying to cut it yourself. But now I'm trying to soften up that line, that bottom line, using my clipper with no guard and kind of using the corners. I'm softening up that with it open because I started my initial guideline with it closed. Once I work with that, then I'm going to go to the half guard and I'm going to have it open. And this is just kind of going and detailing. As you can see, there's still some line there at the bottom. And I'm just going to go in using the corners, trying to detail. And I'll play with my lever a little bit, starting it with open and then kind of closing it, and just trying to continue to soften it as much as I can. This is not going to be the perfect fade, but for a self-cut fade, I think it turned out really nice. So yeah, now going back with my 1 guard, just detailing certain spots I see. Especially here at the back of my head, where it tends to be a little darker. Now just going back and trying to detail, have my half guard. I'm using it closed, still trying to soften up that line a little bit more. But as you can see, the blend came together pretty good. Again, not perfect, but I think it turned out nice. All right, so I did go back and refine a little bit, just with the blade with no guard. Now I am going to be using some product. This is a matte product, fiber pomade from a company called Hairbind out of the UK. I'm just putting this in dry and just kind of going for kind of a messy look. And that is the cut, my friends. Here are some pictures of it in natural light outside. So you can see it's not too shabby, not too shabby. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this. And be sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.